While at Ray Gary's home in Welch, we can read on his terminal that he actually got his injury that put him in a chair from a real Sheepsquatch. In Loregon Day 12, he mentions a quote, shared the last glass of his whiskey with a Sheepsquatch to bury the hatchet. He always knew it wasn't personal. He just got too close. He got too close to the Sheepsquatch and it injured him. But he also goes on to say, on day 19 of his hallucinations, quote, I never could tell them, as in Scoot and Cal, that it was real. I didn't want them to end up like me, or worse. What's the point in finding out the truth? What did it get me? What did it prove? Why couldn't I just leave well enough alone? If I could still walk, if I never saw that damn thing, I'd be out there with Laura. We'd be surviving together. So Ray here says he did encounter a real Sheepsquatch. Just outside of Berkeley Springs, we can come to this campsite during the quest. A perfect getaway where we find two... Oh, that went straight through the skull. Two young people, Vault Tech University students, been killed and they're impaled with these mysterious quills. Of course, reading the note or the article, we know that this is Michael and Cindy, who were out on a camping trip. When you listen to their holotape, you can hear the roar of some creature and then a lunatic. Came down to check the place out. That's what brings you up to Toxic Larry's. And speaking of cryptid hunters and Vault Tech University students, here at the Hunter Shack, we can see the obvious time rift there, possibly caused by Flatwoods Monster or some other cryptid. But Shelby O'Rourke has no mention of the Sheepsquatch on her terminal either. But she also doesn't have any mention of oh no, the government's onto me. She also doesn't have any mention of the giant megasloths. Perhaps she doesn't consider them to be cryptids. The Enclave has no mention of this Sheepsquatch cryptid. They have the Wendigo. They have the Megasloth. And they have the Flatwoods Monster, Grafton Monster, Mothman, and Snallygaster. There's no plaque on the wall for the Sheepsquatch. Even the people of Sugar Grove don't have any information. They have Wendigo, Snallygaster, and Grafton Monster. Unfortunately, their terminal is broken. But they have nothing on the Sheepsquatch. So what do we know? We know that Ray claims the Sheepsquatch is real. Scott says it's not, or Scoot. They're the same person. Calvin believes it's real, which is why he got hired by the Bish Corporation to use the legend of the Sheepsquatch to scare everyone out of their homes here in Lewisburg. And I'm assuming they were going to do it to other places, such as Harper's Ferry, so that they could claim the land. It's a long, complicated, convoluted thing. I've also was just looking at this map. This map tells you a lot of stuff that I've never thought about until now. we'll get into this map. But Shelby has no knowledge or information on the Sheepsquatch, even though she attended one Cryptid Hunter meeting. The Enclave has no information, and the people at Sugar Grove have no information. So is it real? And the only way for us to find out is to go out exploring or to look at this map, but again, we'll get into that later. So sometimes at camp encounter hotspots, you can find a man with his 2 dogs. He is the wandering storyteller, and he will tell you one of 3 cryptid stories.
You got a minute or two? I've seen some strange things here in Appalachia. My friend, this ain't no story you're about to hear. You see, for a while here in Appalachia, rumors spread of a creature. Part man, part goat. Many thought it to be a thief using a disguise to hide his identity. Hell, at the time, that's what I thought. So when I saw the upright figure of a goat bathed in moonlight, I figured the thief was coming my way. That wasn't my plan, but plans change. As the figure approached, it became clear this was no man, but a beast. Some sick perversion of God's creation. Oh, no, it wasn't. The realization dawned on me as the figure drew closer. A monstrosity towering above any man, with twisted horns and red eyes. As it entered my camp, I scurried off into the night, with the intoxicating scent of old urine following in my wake. The beast's, that is, not mine. How could such a vile creation exist? The product of fornication, carried out far from the eyes of God. Truly an unholy creation. Or perhaps radiation is to blame, causing an ordinary farm animal to warp and distort into a living nightmare. What do you think? Well, when you do encounter the creature, I pray you're prepared. Yeah, you're probably right. At the very least, you would expect a conception to occur within the vicinity of toxic waste.
While searching any region of Appalachia, you can see the corpse of a dead Brahmin. And stuck inside of it are a bunch of mysterious quills, and its stomach has been eaten. Sometimes you can hear a roar, but not always. Yeah, while traveling Appalachia, we can come across a bunch of dead super mutants that have mysterious quills on them. And then a waste pile with a skull. Oh. And there's one surviving super mutant who is hostile, but he's not aggressive.
White thing, run! Brother, come back. Papa gone.
As we get close to the super mutant, he runs away. He will not talk to us. Hmm.
Bighorn kill brothers.
So some kind of bighorn killed his brothers. Anything else to say? Before I,
Thing tear brothers. Sheep! Run!
There's no
Why sheep?
there's no sheep. He's so scared that he won't even attack after being shot twice. But he has a mysterious quill on him, so he was attacked by the same creature, the same sheep. While exploring the hills of Appalachia, you can find an empty Sheepsquatch. It is empty, right? An empty Sheepsquatch nest with 2 dead Brahmin. Yeah, he's not running out the forest, so this is empty. But it is telling us that we're getting close to finding one. And if we pass by an object random encounter hotspot, we can find the real thing. A sleeping Sheepsquatch in its nest. Now you can actually sneak up to it. I have done it before, and I really wish I could find the photo where I'm standing right behind him. But I think also they've upped its perception. Let's see how close I can get. Listen to that snoring, that purring. occasionally, after the wandering storyteller tells you one of his stories, you can get attacked.
As it entered my... How could such a... Or, radiation... Prepare to fight for your life! It's the Sheepsquatch! The creature is here! No time to talk! Prepare to fight for your life! It's the Sheepsquatch! You saw the Sheepsquatch with your own 2 eyes. Just like I said, the Sheepsquatch is real. Truly an unnatural abomination of flesh. Still, I do wonder what poor, forsaken soul found themselves so lonely. Driven by madness, they made company with a damn goat. Well, I suppose that's not too far-fetched of an idea. Yes, really, quite reasonable. Still, you gotta wonder. Yes, that is rather plausible. I think you're onto something. Hey, wait a minute now. I don't like what you're implying, pal. Really? I could have sworn I saw something else. Maybe you're right. But I don't sleep well any other way.
So the Sheepsquatch is real, and it primarily appears in random encounters. Although there are like 6 events that we'll get to later on, which will call back to the map that's right there in front of us. So as you just saw, the Brahmin Quill attack, which is the dead Brahmin, the Super Mutant Massacre, the Empty Nest, and the Sleeping Sheepsquatch, those are all object encounters, and so they can only be found at object encounter hotspots. All of them, or the first 3, can be found at any of the locations, from the forest to the bog. But the Sleeping Sheepsquatch can only be found at Ash Heap or higher, and it should be noted that, other than bugs, the Sheepsquatch, a physical Sheepsquatch, will never appear in the Toxic Valley. Sometimes while running around, if you stumble across assault random encounter hotspots in the Ash Heap or higher, you can find the Sheepsquatch fighting different types of enemies. Okay. I was not paying attention and I just walked right into this fight. Yeah. So there you go. He is fighting. No. Don't fight me. Fight the Sheepsquatch. He's fighting a bunch of super mutants. You still aggressive to me? Oh, there's one behind me. The melee one. And I actually got lucky. The next server I hit, is Scorched fighting us. Oh. It always goes for me first, ignoring the obvious enemy faction that it's already in a fight with. There you go. Oh, knocked me off the thing. Scorched fighting a Sheepsquatch. The final assault random encounter with the Sheepsquatch involves it fighting mole miners. And again, cryptids cannot be pacified. Oh, no. No, thank you. Just to show you where I got all three of these, it was just right here at the curve, west of Mountainside Bed and Breakfast. Northeast of Bastion Park. Very reliable spot, at least for me. It's still random, like your chances of encountering this are not 100%. The Wandering Storyteller and his cryptid stories are camp encounters. He can be found at any of the 6 regions, but I believe the Sheepsquatch one he will only tell ash sheep or higher. Cannot confirm that. I've never gotten him to tell the Sheepsquatch one until I've started doing these videos. So, all of the ones that I got were in the Savage Divide. It should also be noted that they're on at least the wiki and stuff, there is one travel encounter called Sheepsquatch Hunt. I have never seen this encounter. After the 3 weeks I've done trying to get all the footage for this, it never once popped up. I gave up on it. There are 3 scene encounters. One of them it's just a roar. You come across an empty scene encounter hotspot throughout any of the 6 regions, and you'll just hear the roar of the Sheepsquatch. Didn't bother trying to get footage for that one because it's not important, but I did get the other 2. Well, figured I was out here, why not run over and give it a look-see? So I was heading down to Gamma. But look, there he is. Another cryptid. Another good old cryptid boy. Yep, this is a scene random encounter where the Sheepsquatch will be fighting a bunch of the Radstag that were created by Thomas. So if you go to a scene random encounter hotspot, you have the chance to get this encounter with the Sheepsquatch. Come on, trigger your freaking... There it is. Your mutation. Like, he's essentially useless once you have a cold shoulder. Like, he can't do much. He can still try to disrupt you with his stomp. Oh, but I got a crit on his head, which negated the stomp. Nope, he's trying it again. Killed him before he could do it. There we go. While traveling down the roads in the Savage Divide or higher, you can come across a scene encounter with a Mr. Herder and Mindy, Myrtle, and Matilda.
I say you should keep moving, human. These roads aren't as safe as they used to be.
It spawns right on top of us. Because of course it does. Well, I'll try. This character isn't exactly combat ready, but I can freeze lock it. Okay, good. He's just popped his heal or regeneration. So we'll just shoot him in his little butt. His little Sheepsquatch butt. And he's dead. We managed to save Matilda, Myrtle, and Mindy? He gives us 50 caps. But he doesn't say anything. Okay. You're welcome. As I said earlier, the Sheepsquatch primarily appears in random encounters. You've just seen all of the ones that are currently exist. But there are 6 events that the Sheepsquatch will appear in. 3 of them, well, I guess not 3 of them. 2 of them are seasonal. Not seasonal. 1 of them is seasonal. And that is Primal Cuts, which will only appear during Meat Week. And it'll be the Ash Heap Primal Cuts only. And he is it is the boss of that Primal Cut. The Sheepsquatch will also appear as a boss in Project Paradise. It's a chance. So obviously, that's not very high. And it will also appear most recently in the Spin the Wheel that was added with Nuka World on Tour. For the final 3 events, that brings us to the map. And also to the terminal that Calvin has. So if we follow the stream of logic here, he has this thing that shows a cow and the Sheepsquatch, and there's a location there that's pinned here in Appalachia, but this one is also connected down to here, and it's connected to here and here. It even says the word's connected, and it's connected to here. Shocking. Man-sheep sighted again. Sheer terror. What exactly is going on in the woods of West Virginia? Eyewitness accounts. But those locations actually matter. First of all, they're in the terminals. If you have access to the terminals, go to his... Is it in these ones? No. It's in his... These ones. Field Research 1 is farmland on Route 63. Well, exiting the terminal, finding Route 63. Right here. And where is Route 63? It's here in the Savage Divide. There's a farm here called Beckwith Farm that's just off of Route 63. Right there. So then if we go back here, go back into his terminal, pull up Research Log 2, Point Pleasant Trails. So he's talking about just slightly off of Point Pleasant. Well, I think that was probably changed later on in the game. Point Pleasant is, yeah, it's hard to see it. It's about rightish over there. I'll just pull it up on the real map. Right here. But he has a pin all the way up here at Grove's family cabin, and there's a farm here, Aaron Holt Farm. So then the final one, Field Research 3. Oh, this final one doesn't play any part into it. But the last one is here in the mire, right at the intersection of the river. If we go up there, the intersection of the river is right here, but what's that? A farm. The Sheepsquatch likes to eat cows. And all three of these are where the event, what is that event called? Hold up. Free range begins. So one starts there, about around Grove's family cabin in the forest. One starts here, around Big Fred's barbecue shack in the Savage Divide, and then one starts here at the Southern Belle Hotel in the mire. Free range. I found a pack of abandoned Brahmin on the road. The out-of-commission Mr. Farmhand that was in charge of them has a shepherd's crook and some instructions on how to herd them. Using the power of the crook, I could get these Brahmin home. Herd the Brahmin. So you have to actually equip it. Duke, Delilah, and Bessie. And I have to get the three of them home to Delano Grange. Oh, it's popping up right here, right underneath them. Of course it is. Oh, another one. So I don't actually think the cows matter anymore. It's now just kill the Sheepsquatch. But slowing him down is very beneficial. So I can get rid of these sting wings. Okay, that's what I needed. I needed him to re-heal. And I'm only using this because it's the cryptid hunt, but man, am I not spec'd into shotguns. Hey. Not that guy. Keep him slowed, keep him slowed. Also making sure this guy's getting hits on it so you can still get something off of it. Boom. That completes free range, at least the one in the mire. Well, Nuka Cola, Bourbon, and Sugar Bomb. I don't have the crook anymore. Oh, there he is. Actually, don't have a... Okay, a Sheepsquatch has a guaranteed spawn during the event free range. This took a while because only one player is given the thing, and that player left. So then we had to wait for another player to be nice and go make one for us. Oh, I'm not going to be able to get a good picture because everyone's using explosive crap. Free range. Guide a pack of abandoned Brahmin back home. A pack of Brahmin lost their robotic handler on their way back to the farm. Didn't have anywhere near enough time to read all that. Loot the shepherd's crook. Bessie. Delano farmhand directive. So now the other stuff that's on the map that I've actually never thought about. There are some that actually I did kind of think about. So you have this one here, and it's linked to these two Mothman photos. So this one's quite obvious. It's pointing to something in the forest, kind of cliffside. So you can see this intersection here by a river. Pop into your map, go to the forest, intersection here by a river. It's obviously Landview Lighthouse, which has Mothman connections. This one is connected to this photo here, which is the Wendigo. However, and I couldn't figure out what exactly that was. Like, is that Arctos Pharma? Or is it Golly Mine? Or is it just the foresty area up here? Because Wendigo don't typically appear in the forest region. But maybe we'll go check that out. So I'm up here in the general area of where it was. Of course, there's Arctos Pharma. So it was where the hump was, but also where that hump was meeting here. So there is a random encounter hotspot here, but it's a camp encounter.
Monster stories are actually true. I bet you that Sheepsquatch is just a myth to scare little children.
But I'm
I'm
fighting
getting
about
so sick and tired of those thorn bushes.
congratulations!
That was odd that she told me about the Sheepsquatch.
I'd prefer to stay around a campfire than someplace like Foundation.
I mean, it's just RNG dialogue, but I'm doing the Sheepsquatch hunt, and she mentioned it. See, yeah, somewhere up here is some connection to the Wendigo. But again, there's no Wendigo camp encounters, to my knowledge, that are also listed on the various sites. So I'm just going to do a quick look over. Like, maybe there's something out here that I've just never seen. Maybe I gotta come back at night. Most cryptids do prefer the night, but they can be found during the day. And again, it could also just be pointing at Arctos Pharma, but I don't see Arctos Pharma as having any Wendigo connection there. Because there's no... I don't believe there's any caves out here. Because sometimes these rocks have caves in them. And it's not Golly Mine. So my other guess is that the Wendigo was supposed to have a more prominent role in the early game, and they didn't go through with that. So they moved the Wendigo Cave. They moved the Wendigo Cave to the Savage Divide instead of having it out here in the forest. But also, the Calvin Van Loo stuff happened before the bombs fell, so maybe any Wendigo that existed out here, I'm vatsing to see if I can catch one in a tree. Maybe any Wendigo presence that was out here before vanished when humans left. Oh, what the heck? Somehow got stuck on that tree. Yeah, it must have left when humans left. Because, yep, then there's Arctos Pharma. So this one was kind of a bust. We couldn't find any connections to the Wendigo. But then there's this one. Which, 1 question mark, 3 question marks, leads down to this week, strange shapes in the sky. Okay. Hey, look, free range is up. So what is that? That is the Toxic Valley. And it's here-ish. It's near the... So there's this little groove here. And it's about right here in Grafton. And then the other one is about over here-ish. So let's go check those locations out and see what the strange shapes in the sky means. Okay, we're just outside Grafton, heading to where that location was, or the gist of where that location was. So there are some houses over there. That's probably just cricket. So it's possibly the houses. But let me just give this little foresty area a look over. Spamming VATS a bit while we search around. Oh, what was that? That's nothing. Huh. Strange shapes in the sky. And it is night. Which means chances of a Flatwoods monster are increased. I've actually seen a lot of Flatwoods monsters while doing all this. Most of them were during the day. Okay, let's give these houses a look over. Because they are in the general area. So maybe it's saying one of these people who lived here have a connection to the flying stuff that was in the sky. Wait, I think we know this house. This is the house that plays into the quest. Cold Case. Yep. So nothing on here will have anything to do with that. Unless it's trying to say that the reason this guy did all this stuff was because he was abducted by aliens and he's not all there. Yeah, none of this has anything to do with aliens. See, originally when I saw the connection to Grafton, I was thinking, oh, the Flatwoods Monster. Because obviously, Grafton, it's not Flatwoods Monster, the Grafton Monster. Because obviously, this is the city of Grafton. Oh, this house is just destroyed. Their mascot is the Grafton Monster, the cryptid. And actually, if you head over to the bridge, all the way, right there, you can find something out. Something that I thought Calvin was getting at. And no, not the tire swing. Or the people that died fishing. Right here, on this rock, is John Bunton's holotape.
Damn it, it's this thing. Okay, it's recording. OJB here, and you would not believe what I'm seeing right now. Yeah, I'm sitting here driving this truck, and what do I see ahead but a sky full of... Well, there's these streaks of light like nothing I ever seen. Whoo, boy, howdy. It's majestic, like shooting stars in early morning light. Yeah, only I ain't never seen them in the morning like this. It's like a rocket streaking through the blue sky, or like... Oh, shit, was that nuclear? Oh, shit, it exploded. Oh, damn it, I was staring right at it. Oh, I'm blind! Shit, I can't see!
Wow, very cryptidy tonight. So you end up missing it, and I don't know if I want to replay the entire holotape, but he crashes, wrecks, and then there is a noise that is actually the same noise Grafton Monster makes. And if you check the bed of his truck, it's a cage. Oh, come on. Oh, fine. Oh, even the camera can't go in there. Where something was being stored. And it's Vault Tech equipment. And as we know, the Grafton Monster was created at West Tech. But also, all of these companies worked together. Huh. So yeah, I assumed that that's why it was. There was a clue on Grafton. It was trying to connect the Grafton Monster. But no, it's apparently to do with aliens, and yet I can't find the link. And this one's a bit easier, and everyone knows this one. So it's near Granger Farm. If you come this way, it is this way, right? Well, first of all, you'll run into this horde of unique rad stag. Well, they were unique in Fallout 4. find them all over the place here in Fallout 76. Oh, that's just a doe. So you ever need rat stag? Come here. But you'll find this this campsite with a damaged hazmat suit. Also, a destroyed house. There's a person. And a safe, and inside the safe is the rusted key and the alien blaster, which play into an unmarked quest, basically, that gets you into one of the TNT domes. So this one has some kind of link to the aliens. I still don't understand the link here. So that leaves the final pins that are not really connected to anything. So there's one here that's just splotched with white paint, and it has nothing connected to the other half. And also, if you look here, this whole area is just splotched with white paint. And that's because those two areas are here, where the Mothman Museum is, and this area. So at first I was thinking, is it the monorail elevator? Does that have a link to something? But because he severed the thing, it's because it's the Lucky Hole Mine, which, as it's obvious with the cultist symbol there, is a Mothman place, as is the one here in Point Pleasant. So instead of just pulling the pin out, he just covered it in paint. And the only other one is here. That's excluding the ones that are linked to the quests. So it is odd that he doesn't have a Grafton Monster one. And he also doesn't seem to... Oh, here's another one that's severed, but that's not important. He also doesn't seem to care much for the Mega Sloth, just like Shelby O'Rourke. But the last one is there, and that is here, the Uncanny Caverns. And that's because all three of the boys, on their own, visited that location. That's where Cal states... When did Cal go there? Uncanny Caverns. So Cal went on his own. A white animal was spotted in the area. He knew it. He got a glimpse of it. So he saw it. And he needs to tell the boys. And that was on March 25th, 2077. And a year after Cal's visit, or a year and 2 months, December 29th, 2072, is when Scoot went out to Uncanny Caverns and found nothing. So it started with, because we have no information on when Ray went and got injured. So my guess is it started with Cal's encounter, and from Cal's encounter, really? From Cal's encounter, they all went out together, found nothing. Then Ray went out on his own, got injured, and then Scoot went out. I'm about to kill this guy. I mean, I don't, but I'm going to. Ray went out and found nothing, and because he was still salty, he broke away from the group. Point Pleasant is obviously a place that they talked about a lot. And now, if you come to Point Pleasant, the whole place has changed. But there is some slight signs of mention of a Sheepsquatch in the final tome that you unlock after doing enough of the the Mothman quests, you find this one called False Gods of Appalachia by Wise Nathaniel the Shadowed. And he mentions squatches of diverse shape. So many tell tales of encounters with beast people in the wilds of Appalachia. 8 men of giant stature and foul stench. So that's not the type that they have here. Hybrids of human and livestock, goat and ram. That is the kind that we meet in Appalachia. Even plants that walk and speak with vegetable minds, invading thoughts of mortals. Some have observed these things, and we know them, but we, likewise, know that they are neither demon nor deity. Some have constructed totems to call or appease these creatures and show themselves fools. A beast may come to food left to tempt it, or be frightened by a strange construction. This does not make it worthy of worship. So the strange construction, I think, is the imposter Sheepsquatch. But we cannot lure, to my knowledge, a Sheepsquatch with food. Oh, I guess we can. That would be what we are doing with the event's free range. I mean, that's not our intention. We're trying to protect them, but we are luring the Sheepsquatch out with food. But unfortunately, we can't talk to any of these guys about the Sheepsquatch, but there is one cultist we can talk to. If you have Brother Scarberry and you have completed Lying Low,
Please regale me with stories of your exploits. Specifically, any experience you have with the Winged One. False gods, I guess.
so as long as you have done the Lying Low, you can say, I've investigated the disappearance of a man who was apparently eaten by a Sheepsquatch.
Ah, yes. I've seen posters telling the power of these squatches. What did you find?
He created a robot that thought it was a sheep. I think it killed him.
Ah, hubris. We have a story about a moth that flew too close to the sun and burned their wings. It seems he had the same outcome with false gods. Ah, I don't. Yes, please, specific. Ah, yes.
We can also say, taxidermy, a secret room, lots of blood, but no body. Seems the Sheepsquatch took him somewhere.
I would have expected as much. It may be a false god, but its power should not be understated.
Can also say, the Sheepsquatch is very real, and it can shoot lasers from its eyes.
Really? Must update the teachings. It seems the false gods are growing in strength to further tempt us wandering souls.
And finally, we can lie, even though that one before was also a lie. Met the Sheepsquatch, cool guy, had a couple of beers.
Noted. False gods are alcoholics.
But that's it. That's all the information we get
You are
on the Sheepsquatch.
Let me assist you with that.
Sure. So there you go. This took far longer than I thought it would. I don't know why I thought it would be short. And, I managed to get multiple Sheepsquatch sightings. And the only 2 encounters I could not get were the travel one that I don't believe exists, and the howl. Plus, I get to dress like one. Well, one with a jetpack. A beautiful little Sheepsquatch doll. Much better than the other one. Is it upstairs? I mean, I still like this one, but the tinier one's way cuter.